I grew up in Heaton Moor in Stockport. I really struggled at primary school. I was really poorly as a young girl, so I was 5 years old and I was off school a lot. I had not much weight on me because I couldn't eat very much, so I was a skinny little thing and I just stuck out. You know, when you stick out at school when you're young, kids can be quite mean, and I got called all sorts of names. My mum played hockey, and so I remember being dragged around the side of a hockey pitch watching my mum. I said, I'm never going to play hockey, Mum. I don't want to be like you. I was really stubborn. And then went to secondary school, just my local state school, and hockey was one of the things we did in PE. Almost immediately, as soon as I picked up a stick and started playing, I fell in love with it. I didn't take to it really quickly, but I enjoyed the challenge of it. My PE teacher, Mrs. Kinder, sent me to trials for my local county team. It all kind of happened really quickly for me. And almost before I knew what was happening, I found myself being selected aged 14 for the England under-16 team, playing with girls who I genuinely believed were so far and away better than me. I don't think I really had the opportunity to really think, do I want this? Am I good enough? Until the year after that, when I was dropped from the England under-16s. I think as a result of wanting to fit in socially, so outside of hockey, I was hanging around with people that I probably shouldn't have been hanging around with. I was drinking, my friends were taking drugs. I remember so clearly, in those days a letter would be sent out and there was a list of names that were selected for the England under-16s and my name wasn't on that list. And I remember just that rush of emotion, embarrassment, sadness, complete devastation, and just typical teenager, ran upstairs, locked myself in the bathroom. And eventually I came out and my mum sat me down, and the only thing that I really remember from that conversation was her saying to me, "What do you want to do about it, Kate?" Hockey was somewhere that I fitted, that I could be comfortable in my own skin. And so I just set about making better choices, went to a different college where none of my friends went, got my A-levels so I could go to university where it was going to help me play hockey. I had to learn to love the discipline of training and eating well and looking after myself. And then went to John Moores University where I started to become a teacher. And then I got my call up to the England team, the senior England team. So I took that year off and went to Sydney Olympics. Coming into that group of senior international players as a teenager was quite daunting. You know, these are women that I'd watched on TV playing the Olympics. Some of them had won an Olympic bronze medal at the '92 Olympic Games. And here was I, just little average Joe Kate, turning up. 2003, we were about to go and play in a Champions Trophy, which is top 6 teams in the world. And our coach at the time, Tricia Heberley, said, OK, we're going to vote for our captain's group. And the coach came back with the vote count and said, OK, actually, I'm going to change this up. And I want one person to be captain. She's got an overwhelming vote from the group, so I'm going to make Kate the captain, which I was like, what? And I was really proud, hugely honoured, but I also felt a bit of a sham. I felt like a bit of an imposter. I was really questioning whether this was the right thing for the group. And as I had done in all of my other aspects of my life up to that point, I decided, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to copy somebody else. Captain that I'd had just before the Sydney Olympics, Sue Chandler. I said, okay, I'm going to be like Sue. So I set about trying to be like her. So I would try and make big speeches and have a really great punchy quote for the huddles, and I absolutely fell flat on my face because, and I know now sitting here, that we follow leaders that are authentic and genuine. And although I think they were following me, I guess there was probably a bit of, you know, she's not quite sure of who she is right now, and it was a really tempestuous time. In 2003 I was made captain. In 2004 we failed to qualify for the Olympic Games as the British women's team, which had never been done before, so making history for all the wrong reasons. And for some of those women in that team, that was their last opportunity to make their dreams come true, to go to Olympic Games, represent their country, win an Olympic medal, and that had gone. I felt that sense of responsibility. I felt that weight was on me as a captain. That feeling from those women at that time, I locked it away inside and vowed to use that as a driver as a motivational tool, as a learning process to make sure that that never happened again. By the time we got to Rio in 2016, as a group of women, we had been on an epic journey, experienced London 2012 Olympics, being on that podium, touching distance to that gold medal, then experienced rock bottom, mentally, physically, emotionally, as the England side finishing 11th out of 12 at the World Cup in 2014. Me personally having the hardest part in my career ever, having to take time away from the sport, starting to see a therapist, really struggling with my mental health. Around 2014, the whole squad struggling in many different ways. To put together 2 weeks of exceptional teamwork, 8 games in 14 days, back-to-back wins, every day just picking ourselves up and going at it again, and just standing on that podium in the end, holding that gold medal, which would, for me, for Helen, had spent 17 years trying to get our hands on. Every kind of experience, all the highs, all the lows, was in that moment. When I look down at that medal on that podium, and I think, as a little girl, that absolutely wasn't for me. That was something that happened to other people. It's a nod to that little girl to say, you did it. And all of those difficult moments, the bullying at school, the doubting yourself, having no confidence, you came out of that and you're standing here now at the top of the world. So, it meant a lot.